So, as we gather today, we are in the first Sunday of a 4-week series that we are calling Together. As we gather together, we come to worship God not alone, but with all of the folks who are around us. And so, to be together is to be the people that God calls us to be when we are at our very best. We figure that folks come to worship from a variety of perspectives. You might be somebody who is a curious skeptic. You come to worship. In fact, I know we have some curious skeptics in our congregation who have said so. Curious skeptic comes because there is a sense that there is more. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm a little bit skeptical of the things that the church has taught over the centuries. I'm skeptical of traditions that don't make sense to me, but I'm here. I'm here because I know there is a reason. I'm here because I know for some reason I'm supposed to be. You might be a hungry novice. Novices are just hungry to take in matters of faith, to take in truths about God and Jesus and the Spirit. Hungry novices often dig into the Bible because they're hungry to learn more about what it means to live as a follower of Jesus. Hungry novices are new to the faith, and we have some folks who are new to the faith in our congregation and are just hungry to learn and grow in their faith together with the community. Some of us are veterans. We've been around and doing this for a long, long time, and maybe we're a little bit restless. We're not sure what it means to be a part of the church today as things are changing so dramatically. We're just kind of restless about it, and maybe we would like to see something different. Maybe we would like to see something new. So we've been around a long time, but we're just kind of restless. Our spirit is just kind of restless. The curious skeptic, the hungry novice, the restless veteran, we are probably some combination of all three of those as we come to this place today. Many talk about the sort of the operating philosophy of our country as rugged individualism. There's this idea that people who are able to be strong in and of themselves, people who don't need the help of anybody else, are truly to be admired. The rugged individual, the man or woman who is able to seemingly break through whatever resistance life might give them and stand up proud and tall by themselves. If you've seen any of the Marvel movies, you know that while we have all of these strong characters like Iron Man and Captain America, etc., Thor, you know that ultimately they have to come together to accomplish their mission. So you have these strong individual characters, but they're better together. They're able to save the planet and the universe and all that is because they come together. So the idea of the rugged individualist is really a lie. It's not how people can live at all, even though we're told that that's how life ought to be. You're going to hear this a lot during the next 4 weeks. We is greater than me. We is greater than me. We want you to leave here on Sunday mornings with it in your brain so that you can't get it out during the week. We is greater than me, so that as you are interacting with people, you're reminded that being together is more important and more fulfilling and more of who we are made to be than to be apart. We is greater than me. My wife Becky and I could never be described as being on the cutting edge of pop culture. Never. Ever, ever. How many of you are familiar with Friends? Okay, quite. Well, some of you, are you not wanting me to know that you know? So Friends had about a 10-year run from 1994 to 2004. We started watching Friends about 3 months ago. Man, we are cutting edge. And we binged it. We saw every episode, and now we're done. I love Friends because it's about these 6 people and what their lives are about, and it's really a pretty cool thing.
job's a joke you broke, your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, a week, a month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you.
It's great lyrics to that theme song, if you don't know them. So no one told you life was going to be this way. Your job's a joke, you're broke, your love life's DOA. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. So when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year, I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to pour, I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you because you're there for me too. It's good to have friends. We need friends to make it through life. And our faith needs friends. Our faith needs friends who can come along with us and carry us when we need to be carried, encourage us when we need to be encouraged, walk beside us, maybe walk ahead of us, walk behind us, but our faith needs friends. We is greater than me. My faith is all that God intends it to be when there are friends who come along with me. We is greater than me. Some beautiful passages in the Bible. Proverbs, a friend loves at all times, and kinfolks are born to share adversity. Some friends play at friendship, but a true friend sticks closer than one's nearest kin. Have you had people in your lives you thought they were your friends, but as it turns out, they were just playing at it, and they were playing you, and they were taking advantage of you, and they weren't your friend at all? Have you ever had that experience? If you've been alive at all and been in a relationship at all, I know you have. And so sometimes we are duped into believing that somebody wants to be a friend, somebody wants to walk with us in faith, but they're really just using us. A sweet friendship refreshes the soul. Think about the good friendships that you have in faith. Think about how refreshing they are. They lift you up. They make your life better. Ecclesiastes 4, this passage is often heard at weddings. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up the other. See, a friend can lift up the other because we is greater than me, and a we allows us to help each other. But woe to one who is alone and falls and does not have another to help. Again, if two lie together, they keep warm, but how can one keep warm alone? And though one might prevail against another, one or two will withstand one. A threefold cord is not quickly broken, and so we've got this idea of the two cords of friends, God's cord of love, holding it all together because we is greater than me. Friend is someone who knows all about you and still loves you. Do you have a friend like that? Somebody who knows pretty much everything about you and they're still your friend? Our faith needs friends, and our faith needs friends who know us, who know about us, who hang in there with us, who love us through it, and who remind us that God loves us and that we is greater than me. Something in your life, my life, our lives down the highway of life, if you will, is going to make us swerve. It might be instability in a job. It might be illness. It might be family stress. I know you don't have that. Death of a spouse, divorce, a rebellious child, a broken friendship. Life is going to have that sort of stuff happen to us because to live is to experience that. But in the midst of it, we is greater than me. This is H. George Anderson. George was the second presiding bishop of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. And at one point in his life, George's wife succumbed to cancer. George remembers going to worship on Sunday morning and sitting in the back pew and not being able to pray, not being able to sing, not being able to speak anything that had to do with his faith. But he kept going, and he felt alone in that back pew, couldn't pray, couldn't sing. He finally talked to one of his good friends who was sitting in a pew close by, and he told his friend that he couldn't sing. He couldn't pray. He just couldn't do it. And George's friend said, "That's okay. When you couldn't pray, when you couldn't sing, I was praying for you. I was singing for you." See, we is greater than me. Our faith needs friends. When we are down and out and wonder if we can recover any sense of faith, our friends help us through. Our faith needs friends. When we are with our friends in faith, we live the way that God intends us to live, because it is about together. It is about we being greater than me. I have 3 good friends. One is a friend from seminary who's a chaplain at Cleveland Clinic. The other is a friend who started seminary but ended up going in a different direction, lives in Dayton. And the third friend lives in Farmington Hills, Michigan. He is a Presbyterian pastor. You see, the thing about these friends is that they know some of the stupid decisions I've made. They know some of the poor judgment I've shown. They know some of the deepest, darkest things about me, and they still love me. They pray for me. They hang in there with me, and they are friends who, like me, have this sense of faith. One of them is a skeptic. The other is pretty solid, and the other is kind of exploring all kinds of different faith, but we're in this together. And they have never left me when they could have. They have never left me to be alone in some of the dark nights of the soul. Our faith needs friends. And for me, particularly in some really hard times, those friends have been my source of faith and hope in God. I hope you have somebody like that in your life, because we is greater than me. So my friends remind me of that, and hopefully your friends can remind you of that we is greater than me. William Blake says this: it's easier to forgive an enemy than to forgive a friend. Isn't that true? You see somebody that you don't particularly like, if they do something that hurts you, you kind of expect that. But when it's a friend, it can be more difficult to forgive because you have a different kind of expectation. You have a different kind of hope. You have a different kind of understanding of what that relationship is about. And so it can be very, very difficult to do, even when we are talking about friends in faith. But life is sometimes like that. And so we try to find a way to move forward. One of the hardest parts of life is deciding whether to walk away or try harder. My sense of things, and I don't mean this exactly, and I don't mean this always, and I don't mean this as an unbending observation, but my sense is that at times in 2019, it might be the case that we walk away too quickly. It might be the case that maybe we're not able to allow enough time for some reconciliation. I understand there are times when relationships need to go separate ways. There may be more times than we know when that process can be worked through and the relationship can survive and forgiveness can be experienced, whether we're talking about a spouse or a good friend. We've had good friends betray us, and sometimes the relationship needs to go. But perhaps other times there can be the possibility that things can be made new and that our friends in faith can continue to be in relationship with us. Gandhi says this: if you aren't willing to forgive, It's because you want to hold on to the resentment and anger. I don't know about you, that feels good. I'm not going to forgive you because it feels good to be angry. It feels good to resent you. I don't want to let go of that because if I do, what do I have left? Well, maybe letting go of the anger and resentment can be healing for us. Maybe forgiving can be healing for us as we let go of the stuff that has a hold of us. So we know Jesus on the cross. If you come to Good Friday, 7 last words of Jesus from the cross, and we know that this is one of them. And I'd like for you to finish the sentence with me. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. We always assign that to Jesus as if it only has to do with Jesus. But what if we think of our friends in the same way? What if we say, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing? And it might be the case that our friends don't know what they're doing. It might be the case that they need to be forgiven and restored because they're not even aware of it. It can be like that. Father, help me forgive them because I really don't think they know what they're doing. And when that happens, our faith and our friends can come back together and we continue to live in that spirit. Father, forgive them. They might not know what they're doing. We is greater than me. John 15, Jesus says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you." And I think what Jesus is commanding us to do and to know is that we is greater than me, and that being together is how we are best able to live in the world. So this week, here's the invitation. I would like for you to connect with one of your faithful friends. And I would like for you to perhaps talk to them. It might be in text or phone call. It might be breakfast, lunch, dinner, or coffee or whatever. And thank them for being a friend in faith. Thank them for being with you, and you might be amazed at what happens. So reach out this week. Make that connection. Talk to that friend. Thank that friend. And I think you'll be enriched in some ways that might be a wonderful surprise.